Hello and welcome back to ScotlandShop on the Sofa. I'm John.
And I'm Lauren, and we hope you are ready to dive into the fascinating history of Clan Farquharson, a powerful and ancient family who have long reigned over Aberdeenshire.
It is thought that the progenitor of the family was Farquhar, the fourth son of Chief Alexander Shaw of Rothiemurchus, who settled in the Braes of Mar, near the source of the River Dee, in around 1450. He was soon appointed Bailey and Chamberlain of the earldom and gained much admiration and respect.
Farquharson's son, Donald, advanced the family's prospects further by marrying Isabel Stewart, the heiress of Invercauld, and acquiring her vast estate in Upper Deeside. The pair went on to have a son named Finlay More, who became the first official chief of the Farquharson clan. The records of Invercauld describe Finlay as of gigantic size and great strength of body, and say that he had remarkable bravery and fortitude. Finlay himself had 9 sons who succeeded in making Clan Farquharson ever more expansive, influential and powerful.
This influence helped the Farquharsons to obtain an impressive number of grand homes and vast estates, and it only makes sense to start with Invercauld Castle, the clan's iconic historical seat. Standing at the centre of a 100,000-acre estate in Royal Deeside and nestled on the banks of the River Dee, Invercauld is blessed with scenic views of the surrounding mountains and woodlands.
The original castle was built in the 16th century, though the current iteration was largely constructed in the early 19th century. It boasts many elegant features of the Scottish baronial style, including distinctive turrets and towers, and is surrounded by rich gardens filled with thriving plants and wildlife.
The Farquharsons have a long history with Invercauld. It is thought that they first came into possession of the castle in the 1500s, when Donald Farquharson married Isabel Stewart, the heiress of Invercauld.
The family briefly lost its ownership of the land in the 1600s, but managed to repurchase the possession rights from the Crown in the 1700s, following the Jacobite uprising. They quickly set about improving the estate, with James Farquharson, the 12th Laird, planting over 14 million trees. In the 1800s, the family carried out extensive construction and improvements, extending the castle in the Victorian style.
The Farquharsons still own Invercauld today and run the estate as a modern business. It's great to see a clan who've managed to hold on to their ancestral home for so long.
Our next site for today is the nearby Braemar Castle, a striking building set in the heart of the Cairngorms National Park. Originally built in 1628 by the Earl of Mar, it served as both a family home for the Farquharsons and a stronghold during their turbulent times.
The 10th chief of Clan Farquharson, John Farquharson, purchased Braemar Castle in 1732, but didn't get to enjoy it in peace for long.
John refused to support the Jacobite cause in the 1745 uprising, so his estates were attacked by the Jacobites before their defeat at Culloden. Afterwards, he decided to lease the damaged Braemar to the government to use as barracks. The lease was arranged for 99 years in return for a payment of £14 a year.
The government returned the castle early, releasing it back to the Farquharsons in 1807. Over the 1800s, it became somewhat of a party house, playing host to a range of prestigious guests, including Queen Victoria.
In 1961, Captain Alwyn Farquharson and his wife Frances made the decision to open the castle to the public. It has been a wonderful place to visit for locals and tourists alike since, and continues to overcome challenges to preserve the Farquharson history.
In 2007, Braemar was at risk of bankruptcy and closing permanently, but the local community put a plan in place to save the iconic castle. Braemar was officially leased to the community and is now run by a team of volunteers and staff. In 2019, a new £1.6 million project was launched to conserve the castle, redevelop the grounds, and provide a rich and interesting activity programme. The project has attracted some impressive supporters, with King Charles appointing his foundation to contribute to the work, perhaps inspired by the days he spent playing at the castle as a child.
We think visiting Braemar would be the perfect way to learn more about your Farquharson heritage and help to support the conservation efforts.
Our final Farquharson site for today is the beautiful Finzean Estate, nestled in the hills of Aberdeenshire. The estate spans over 12,000 acres, full of rich history and stunning landscapes, including woodlands, farms and rivers. Finzean has been in the Farquharson family for centuries, with Donald Farquharson acquiring property in the valley in 1580. Later, in 1707, Queen Anne granted Robert Farquharson, the fourth laird of Finzean, a barony charter, an honour that signified his complete independence from any other feudal superior.
Finzean has been memorialised frequently in art, perhaps most significantly by Joseph Farquharson. Joseph was born in 1846, the son of Francis Farquharson, Laird of Finzean. He was educated in Edinburgh, but also spent much of his childhood at his father's Highland estate. The young Joseph showed a startling natural talent for painting and was so consumed by it that his parents had to restrict him to painting only on Sundays to prevent him from completely abandoning his schoolwork.
As an adult, Farquharson relished the freedom to dedicate all of his time to his art. He trained at the Trustees' Academy in Edinburgh throughout the 1860s and presented his first exhibition at the Royal Academy, titled Day's Dying Glow, in 1873.
He often completed his paintings on the family's estate and was clearly inspired by the Highlands landscapes, with his most famous works portraying farm animals or rural people going about their everyday life against dramatic countryside backdrops. He was also admired for his depictions of the warmth and light of sunrises and sunsets. Farquharson was so dedicated to achieving realism that he created what he called a painting hut, which was a small structure on wheels, equipped with a small stove to warm against the harsh Scottish climate and a large window from which to observe the natural world.
His dedication and skill earned him much respect and admiration within the art world. In 1900 he was elected Associate of the Royal Academy, being promoted to Royal Academician in 1915 and finally Senior Royal Academician in 1922. He exhibited over 200 works at the Royal Academy in total, 73 at the Royal School of Arts and 181 at the Fine Arts Society.
In 1918 he inherited the title of Laird, as well as his beloved Finzean Estate, and continues to be linked with wintry yet warm Highland scenes to this day.
In addition to its fascinating family history, Finzean is also much admired for its commitment to sustainable land management and conservation, as well as its rich local wildlife, as it is home to a wide range of animals including deer, red squirrels and countless species of birds.
The estate is also dedicated to supporting the community and aims to help in running the local school and burse and Furyside church. They frequently donate land for the community woods, pathways and other recreational areas and encourage people to enjoy the picturesque landscapes.
There is also an admirable policy of selling low-cost housing to young people who have grown up in Finzean. In 1983, the estate helped to establish the first sheltered housing scheme in the northeast of Scotland, and in 2006 opened the Finzean Farm Shop, which provides jobs for 24 local people.
The estate is open to the public and attracts numerous visitors each year, with its beautiful walking and cycling routes, fishing sites, cafe, holiday accommodation and much more.
We hope you have enjoyed exploring a few Clan Farquharson sites with us and perhaps feel a bit closer to your fascinating ancestors.
Anne Farquharson-Mackintosh shocked Scotland when she became the only female military leader during the infamous Jacobite uprising of 1745. Lady Anne was born at Invercauld House near Braemar in 1723 to John Farquharson of Invercauld. As was customary, her father sought to arrange a marriage for Anne that would bring protection and greater wealth to the family. In 1741, he achieved this goal and Anne wed the chief of Clan Mackintosh, Angus Mackintosh. Angus was a captain in the Black Watch, a government regiment formed of several local clans that aimed to guard and police the Highlands following the 1715 Jacobite uprising. Anne's father would surely have been very pleased to have found such a respectable match for his daughter, though we imagine he could not have foreseen what was to happen next.
Despite her husband's position with the Black Watch, Anne's loyalties lay with the Jacobites, and she was eager to act on her convictions.
When Prince Charles Edward Stuart pledged to fight at Glenfinnan, she gathered over 350 Farquharsons and Mackintoshes to join the Jacobite army. During the conflict, her husband fought against her on the opposite and losing side, though he didn't seem to have lost any respect for her in the process. After he was captured after the Battle of Prestonpans in 1745, he was released to reunite with his wife, who greeted him by saying, "Your servant, Colonel."
The name Colonel Anne has stuck ever since, though Anne's lot could not last forever. A large number of her men were defeated at the Battle of Culloden in 1746, and Anne was arrested by government troops before being held at Inverness for 6 weeks. She was then released without charge and reunited with her husband in an interesting parallel to previous events.
Against all odds, the pair seemed to spend the rest of their time together, living happily side by side, and even found elements of humour in their opposing views. One popular tale says that several years after Culloden, they both attended a social event in London where they met the Duke of Cumberland. The Duke is said to have asked Anne to dance with him to a song linked to the Hanoverian government. Supposedly she agreed on the condition that they then danced to a Jacobite song after.
Following her husband's death in 1770, Anne moved to Leith, where she later died in 1787. She was buried in Old North Leith Burial Ground on Coburg Street, and her grave is marked by a white Jacobite rose.
If you find yourself in the area, why not take the time to visit and pay your respects to this trailblazing and fiercely independent member of Clan Farquharson.
That brings us to the end of this month's episode, but we have much more Farquharson content for you to enjoy over on our blog and website.
Head over to our clan page to learn more or browse the Farquharson tartan we have. Owning your clan's tartan is the perfect way to connect with both your heritage and your fellow clan members, and we have plenty of products to choose from.
Thank you for listening, and please don't hesitate to get in touch if you have any questions or comments.